Greetings, John Tiller Software Panzer Campaigns players, to the second in my Minsk 44 series where we discuss defence in Panzer campaigns. This time using scenario 0634_13B Mogilev. In wargaming, defence can sometimes seem the poor relation to the glamour of offence and taking ground and surrounding the enemy. So I was somewhat surprised and pleased to see this scenario. As the comment says, this scenario has been optimised for human German defender with the Russian AI on the attack. So I thought this was just what we were looking for, so we could extend our discussion on defence. If you'd like to read the scenario briefing in full, please press pause now. As usual, the attacker goes first. So here we are at the first turn of the Germans, who are the defender. The weather for today has visibility at 2 kilometres, and current weather has soft conditions underfoot. Tomorrow there is a 70% chance of soft and an increase in visibility to 3 kilometres. Victory. Well, the Russians clocked up 59 points on that turn, and they need 501 points for a draw. So in other words, we have to stop them from gaining 600 for a minor victory, and we can gain some sort of win if we keep the score below 500. So let's have a look at the map. The main feature of the map is the River Pronya, which leads north-south through the map, through fairly typical countryside for Minsk. And that is clear hexes with swamp, rivers, creeks, villages dotting the countryside, with a reasonable road network for a Russian scenario. So let's have a look at the victory locations. From north to south, our first line, we have a line of 50 pointers. That's 150, 225 with the 75, 300 back to here, 400 and 550. So at the very last stand for us will be to defend Sukhari from the Russians, remembering we have to keep them below 500. Then further to the west we have Mogilev itself, another 200 points here, and a 300 pointer in Mogilev itself. So if we end up back here, that'll be a total defeat. Ideally, we want them no further back than Sukhari. So during the day, we can expect a small supply of reinforcing units from 1200 hours through to 2000 hours on the 23rd of June 1944, being later today. So starting at the top of the map, so some of our units were disrupted during the initial strike by the Soviets. So our usual modus operandi with examining the Soviet units to look for engineer units. Now in the briefing it talks about extensive use of engineers swimming across the river, which was the Russian tactic of the time. So there's one there, one there. Note these units, which are the bridge laying units, so they'll be our number one priority, and then normal engineer units will be the number two priority. He's doing bridge ops, so he'll be a priority. So as mentioned in video 1 of the Minsk series, the Russians need to undergo bridge laying or ferrying operations to get across the river. So it's obvious that engineers are our number one. There's another bridge layer we need to attack if we can. More engineers. Now it's quite obvious at this stage that there are a bunch of engineers. Another bridge ops. So we're going to have to take our chances on the roll of the dice, probably to how quickly the Soviets will get across the river, because we just don't have enough artillery at this stage to disrupt them all, but we'll give it our best shot. So this one here, the bridge ops, it'll be first. Oh, okay, can't spot him because he's not part of his unit. Okay, well, have a go at that engineer unit there. So it's not good news that we're not disrupting these guys. That is for sure. So we'll just have to go further north up the map. Perhaps we just try and get at least one. He's out of range. Alright, so got this bridge ops one here. So we're really not having any luck at all. This is not good. Okay, this one have any bridge ops guys. Okay, we'll stick to this one down here. Well, that is what you call the worst case situation, where you don't disrupt any of them. So that's very sad for us. As mentioned last time, they cannot cross the river, so it's to our benefit to not be adjacent to them. Try and protect our units as much as possible. Notice when I move the engineer here, he is then not spotted by the Russians, and if he's not spotted, he cannot be artillery. So that's another reason to move away from the Soviets at this stage, to try and avoid their overwhelming superiority in artillery assets. So this chap here, so if we select a Soviet unit, for instance, and press S, well, we can still see that one there. Okay, that's interesting. So we'll grab him. Okay, we can't move one more hex. That's bad news. Alright, so this guy here, disrupted. S. Okay. Right, there we go, that's better. So notice that that guy is moved out of visibility of these riverside Soviet units. Now obviously they could move a guy into there and they'll get spotting, but you can only try. So I'm moving this engineer back to give us a couple of options back here that we can blow this bridge. It just means they can't get across the bridge absolutely scot-free. You know, they'll have to pay the secondary river cost. But we'll keep going down. This chap here, so these guys can see up to this ridge line. So ideally, that's where we want to get. I'm a little bit hesitant because this guy's in rubble, which is a pretty good defense, I think. It mainly affects movement, so let's do a retreat there as well. So in the retreat, we're looking for forest or village hexes so we can get improved defensive bonus. Plus it has the chance of being turned into rubble, which may affect their movement in the future. Right, so this guy here, he might be in big trouble here because, oh no, they can only see there, so maybe even if I go there, no, they can see him. Okay, so he needs to, okay, so did he get out of sight of the Russians there? He did. There we go. So they should get away. So at this stage, we're just trying to save as many unit points as we can. This poor chap's got to wander through the swamp, so I'm not sure about his fortune. This is okay. As you can see, this guy here, ideally we need to get across to there. So what I might do is grab this one here. So I'll move this gun into one of these two positions here in the forest and set up some sort of initial defence. I mean, we're not going to hold very long. Oh, rats. I was hoping he might be able to get into that village, but just doesn't have the movement points. Because he has to cross the stream. So those guys are going to be in a bit of trouble, as we'll see in the next AI turn. So we can't move from Zoc to Zoc, so this one we have to move here. Now do we move to there or there? Well, I'm going to move to there in the hope that he's out of visibility, which he is. So once again, in the AI move, it may move a unit closer so that it can see those units, but initially our attempt is to get out of their line of sight so they can't artillery us. Now this guy here, I imagine he'd be out of sight because he is behind the forest. So if you can see, they can only see that one and into there, so he can actually stay in that location there. So it's important to first do your artillery so that your units are spotting the Soviet units. And then once you've used your artillery, then think about moving out of line of sight of the Soviets, and this is when you're in defence. Well, that'll be the basic strategy we employ. Okay. So these guys I'm hoping to bring back down around this road and make some defence through here with the villages here, the forest around here. This guy's in a bunker, so I'm hoping he can be extremely problematic, maybe with a line through here. So that's going to be the general plan. How close we get to that, we don't know. Let's see if he can dig. Oh. Ah, digging it. There we go. So they should be able to dig it to trench. Something worth noting at this stage is if we go F4, so the bunker probability is 0%. So there's no chance whatsoever that we can build a bunker with engineers. The digging in is 10% to an improved position, so that's 1 in 10. Mine probability, as I discussed last video, 1 in 20. But if you do stack engineer units together, you can increase that 5% per engineer. Okay. Unfortunately, headquarters cannot dig in. So that is a bit of a blow. But we'll try and put him in a village hex at least. So I might bring this guy up to about here or here with the idea of building, digging in. Eventually, we're going to have to withdraw our artillery and perhaps we'll go to the improved position here or maybe one that this chap builds. Also, way back in Mogilev, we get some units. Most are locked at this stage, but we do get this headquarters and this Fusilier regiment, a battalion. So we just go Alt, Alt, Alt. And the same thing with this one. And that is basically our first turn of the scenario. So it will be certainly interesting to see just how many Soviet units are successful in ferrying or bridging in this turn. We can go, as you can see, using the unused movement points, we can see which units have been moved. Okay, so this guy hasn't, so we'll get him on his bike. And the main point at this stage really is the idea that our units are not spotted, although I would have thought that one would have been, but there you go. Okay, let's see how we go. We don't have any more of those, don't have any airplanes, so next turn. So turn 2 of 16. So it is now 0800 hours, 23 June 1944. So we'll start from the top of the map. You see this unit has been broken, so hence the reason why we want to really get away from the Soviet artillery, get unspotted. The very sad thing here is the three Soviet battalions here, a regiment, has managed to get across our side of the river and is in our improved positions. So not good. Grab our engineer unit there. Yeah, poor old broken unit. I don't think he's going to get much respite. Wow. So look at this. We've got 1, 2, crikey. So they must have had a super good run on the river crossing and ferrying roles. Notice that when they get across our side of the river, they're all in transport mode. So that is something that gives us a chance to use our artillery to blat them somewhat. Obviously, our preference is for those in clear hexes. And our preference would be to disrupt them, if they could be so kind to do that for us. There's one chap done the right thing. Well, I'm amazed they were so successful in getting across. Well, at least we have 2 disrupted. They're in marsh. Clear. Improved position. He's not spotted, is that true? No, we must spot him by that. Wow, and he's across our side. That's just terrible. Okay, so we're certainly up against it. These chaps here, oh, these chaps didn't get across, so that's something. 1, 2, this one did. So, I'm presuming, as I can't see a bridge icon, that these guys have been ferried across. As I say, that is and the same down here. Can't see a bridge icon, so that makes me think that these guys are ferried, which is not so bad. Bridges are our big problem. Right, so anyway, we'll continue with our artillery. We'll have a go at that bridge option, that stack there. Oh, cannot be spotted by subordinate unit. Wouldn't that rot your socks, because he's one of these green units. Okay. Right, so they're still up. This guy here, we'll just stick him in there. Right, so a bit annoying that this guy couldn't fire, but I think what we'll do is, because we don't have anyone in spotting distance, I cannot understand that. Oh no, that's a different colour unit. Yeah, so there you go. So what we'll do is, if you can't fire, you might as well move. It's my philosophy. So we might try and get him up into that one with this unit here, which will then build, use him as a digging in guy. Right, so 1, 2. Excellent, he's digging in. 1, 2, and oh no, it's that's right. Yep, we'll keep him digging in just in case he gets another level. Low ammo, he can move to there. Disrupted, move to there. So, this one we might move to there. Such is life on defence. So we keep moving, go unmove units if we like. So this one hasn't been moved. S. Perhaps we'll leave him there just for a moment. This one here. Okay, those guys there can spot him. So I'm going to continue to move him rearwards. This guy can help defend the artillery for a while. So he's spotted by those guys. It's always a question, should we take advantage of the village in the trench, which is, what, 15%, 35%? Forests, 20%. But I really do feel the Soviet artillery is quite overwhelming. He can't be seen just yet. This guy here, will get him digging in. He's in the bunker. So maybe I'll move him to there and we'll dig in there. Bring this gun down. Ah, trench, okay, that's good. So in that case, might consider moving our armour just out a bit. Excellent. And that's it. That seems to me to be as much as we can do. So you can see this guy here, he is still spotted. Okay, well, I think we should withdraw. And the rest of our units are not spotted at the moment. But of course it doesn't mean that the AI won't move closer and spot us that way. But as I say, in defence you take what you can get. So let's Well, that was a good example of the power of the Soviet artillery. That went from a usable unit to totally smashed. So I think all we can really do with him is plonk him up there. Obviously they'll move probably up to here. Now I may have done that too quick. Because can I fire at these guys now with my artillery? Oh, bugger, I did it. Rats. So that's what happens when you move too quick. So the artillery really is the power in our defence, and losing that spotting opportunity was quite unfortunate. So we can't fire that gun. This guy here is moving. So we can start digging next turn. Rightio, so next turn. So I'll turn digging in off for the vehicle, and I'll turn it on for him. Oh, wrong. And I'll turn it on for him. For our armour, we might just start moving him over there. We'll see if we can spade him in. So I'm not too worried about defending the 50-pointer so much as just finding good areas to defend. Would like to have got him in the village there. This guy here, he can start digging in. This guy, he can start digging. Okay, I'll move him one across. Can't dig in just yet. Okay, this guy here, he can see if he can get to trench level. Those are disrupted, so that's something. Might put my broken unit in there. I can't move. Oh, okay, so I'll try and move him back one. No, he's not going to move in there. He's disrupted, so I'll move him back towards the headquarters. Okay. So that's it for turn 3. Wow. So the didn't get to fire that turn. How good a news is that? So we've saved our units from one lot of Soviet artillery fire, which has to be good news. We've got reinforcements. Yeah, I didn't get any units undisrupted. Recovered losses is good. Improved positions is good. So turn 4 of 16. Unfortunately, they're out of transport mode now, but what can you do? And I think the common sense rule is try and attack infantry in clear terrain. Right, so do artillery first. I think I mentioned that. Unavailable. Units. Arrived units. Place all. Right. So let's just check our spotted unit situation. Okay, this guy's spotted. This poor chap here is spotted. And the rest of our units are not spotted according to the tool. So we can spot him, but perhaps he can't spot us because we're in a town. Fair enough. Okay, so that's our 4th turn, so we'll hit the next turn. Yeah, he was spotted and broken. So we have more reinforcements in turn 5 or 1400 hours. 3 undisrupted from 5, so that's something. 5 improved positions, so they've been digging furiously. Right, so we might leave it there. I think that's enough for you to digest in one episode. So the Soviets are certainly gathering steam. We're really at our first real line of defence, which is along here in the forests. You can see these guys here cop something of a pasting. Now once the enemy is in attacking position, you have to take your units out of digging in, because when they're digging in, they're only 50% on defence. So that's as far as they're going to dig. With our engineer, move him across there. Oh, I moved both of them. Never mind. I've done it now. No going back. So this guy here, almost to a turn. So anyway, I'll have a look at it and get back to you in a moment, see what the reinforcement unit is, and see if we can figure out what the Soviets are up to. So the art of defence, something a little bit different, and I'm pleased that we have a scenario here which has been specifically designed to have the human as the defender. So cheers, and I'll see you next time.